Welcome back. Pakistan has assured the International Monetary Fund that it will gradually phase out untargeted electricity subsidies and move towards a targeted relief system through the Benazir Income Support Program. The move is part of the country's wider commitments under the IMF program and climate financing arrangement, but it also raises important questions about electricity prices and the impact on ordinary consumers. Mr. Rana, let me start with the most basic question for people watching at home. What exactly is changing under this new subsidy system, and who is likely to feel the impact first?
So let me first explain what is Pakistan's pricing structure when it comes to your electricity bill. If you have a look at your bills, and first of all, there are two types of consumers. One is the consumers, they use time of use meters, which means they have fixed electricity rate for day and evening time. And these rates are fixed, and mostly these rates are higher than the cost of power generation. So the government doesn't give any sort of subsidy to the time of use meter consumers. So there is another category which don't use the time of use meters. They have different slabs and different rates. Right now, the slab rate starts from the consumption of 1 unit to over 700 units. So there's a slab. Slab means the band of consumption starting from 1 unit to 50 units, then from 1 unit to 100 units. These people are called the protected consumers, which means these are Pakistan's most vulnerable and economically deprived segment who cannot afford higher electricity prices, so they are given electricity subsidies. Then there is another slab which is starting from 101 unit to 200 units. So this slab is again relatively poor people, but they are called non-protected. They have both categories, protected and non-protected.
How do you distinguish between these?
Protected and non-protected means the protected one is they are considered as the most vulnerable. The non-protected ones, they have, again, the government has set some criteria for them, like they have a certain amount of consumption. If their consumption exceeds beyond a limit, so they will be treated as non-protected consumer. They will still be getting subsidies, but the amount of subsidy will be less than the protected sector of the consumers. Then there is a third slab which ranges from 201 units to 300 units. These are the consumers who get any sort of subsidies depending upon the amount, but all of them, they get subsidies. So then there is a class of consumers starting from 301 units to any range. So this class of consumers pay a price which is higher than power generation cost, even after including various surcharges and extra amounts that they pay. They also pay a price as a subsidy. So the government of Pakistan can subsidize another class which is using less than 300 units of electricity. So here is a question that why the people of Pakistan are paying this subsidy for the rest of the people? Because this
I was just wondering that.
Yeah, so this is the responsibility of the government. The government says we don't have a space in the budget, so these are the people who can pay higher prices. Right now, so this is the price structure, how the government receives the cost of electricity that every household uses. Now, these people who are in the range of 1 to 300 units, they are getting electricity, subsidized electricity, irrespective of different parameters. IMF is saying, and this is also the view of the government of Pakistan, that this is untargeted subsidy. How this is untargeted subsidy? Like if a person is having a meter of a general meter, not the one where the government charges fixed rates. That person can be rich, and because of any reason his consumption for the month is, let's say, 150 units. So if he is availing 150 units electricity, so he's paying a price which is meant for the class of people or consumers who are really poor or low middle income groups. So the IMF and the government of Pakistan is that this untargeted subsidy should come to an end. And how the people were, there's an interesting pattern in it, and that pattern is that people were avoiding sleeping beyond 300 units electricity by installing 2 meters. So in one household,
how does that work exactly?
So in one household, there will be 2 electricity meters, and people, these consumers having 2 meters, they would be switching both of these meters to keep their consumption below 200 units for each meter, because they are being subsidized against the meter, not against the CNIC number or the consumer number. So in that case, if let's say their consumption is 350 units, but they will, by dividing this consumption to 2 meters, let's say for 15 days they will use 1 meter, and for the rest of the 15 days of a month they will use the second meter. The first meter will be switched off. So their consumption is 350, but they divide it into 2. So essentially they are falling in the category of the subsidized consumers. Now the government of Pakistan has committed with the IMF that starting from January next year, there will be an end to this untargeted subsidies, and the government of Pakistan will be shifting to a targeted subsidy mechanism through the Benazir income support program.
Mr. Rana, coming around to how there's around 22 million consumers that are using up to 300 units, but BISP only covers far fewer families. Does that create a risk that many vulnerable households could fall through the cracks?
Absolutely. Many people will not be in the category of those who would still be receiving some sort of subsidy through the BISP, and they will be left out. Right now, as you said, that the BISP database has total 10 million consumers. 10 million beneficiaries. These are the people who are getting, mainly the women, who are getting quarterly cash dole-outs from the government of Pakistan, because they are treated as the poorest people of Pakistan, and because of the high inflation, double-digit inflation, low economic growth, high employment. So these are the people who cannot even have 2 times of meal without state help. So these people are being given rupees 14,500 per quarter for 3 months. So that money is also going to be increased in near future. But right now there are 10 million beneficiaries in this database. As you said, that there are more than 22 million people who are using less than 300 or up to 300 units of electricity. So there and not necessarily that the entire 10 million BISP beneficiaries are part of are also part of the lowest strata. So what will happen then? What will happen to?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. How exactly is the government going to make this shift, though?
The plan is that the government will identify the CNIC, will identify the electricity consumers who are the beneficiary of the subsidy through their national identity card number. So let's say if you are using 2 meters, but of course those 2 meters will be against one CNIC number. There might be 5 meters against one CNIC number. So if your total consumption against one CNIC is, let's assume 400 units. So that means you are not eligible for the subsidy. You will be excluded. And that will be the first benchmark to include any beneficiary in the BISP database. The second, in addition to the CNIC, there will be tracking of your consumption, because a month a meter reader comes to your home, it takes your reading and goes. So that tracking of consumption will be used as a base. So based on these 2 criteria, there will be a test running of the system by August this year. If the test is good, up to the mark, and the World Bank is also helping the government of Pakistan in this regard, then there will be a switch to the targeted subsidy. Having said that, Power Division itself has told the IMF that the identification of the genuine beneficiaries who would be part of the BISP database through the CNIC is not a perfect system. So there will be flaws, and there are concerns that many people will be left out of the targeted subsidy regime.
Thank you, Mr. Rana. That's all we have time for today. Thank you for watching. Don't miss our next update next week, same place, same time.